Hey everybody, this is your girl Deborah Coco, and I got a great show lined up for you today. My first guest on the show is Rob Garris. Y'all know him. He's definitely been boxing for a great cause, the Throwaway Kids Foundation, and we're going to sit down and talk about his career. He's going to let you know what's going on, how he got into boxing, and actually where his plans is for the future. So sit back and relax. I got a great show for you, and we'll be right back with more. Hey everybody, this is Coco, and I'm here with my first guest of the evening, Mr. Rob Garris, light heavyweight boxer from Mount Vernon. He's also the founder of Throwaway Kids Foundation. So we have a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, because this man has some great passion. From young, you discovered your passion, you know, to want to, you know, do things for others. And we're going to start off talking about a little bit about your background, because that led you into what you really got into as an adult. So give us a little background on you. Start us off.
Well, I was a foster kid given up at birth. I'm one of 3 kids on my mother's side, and I'm one of 10 on my father's side.
Wow.
But the family that took me in adopted me when I was 7. I had a good life, blessed life, you know. I grew up in a neighborhood of foster kids, and most of them was getting abused, and, you know, they wasn't getting, you know, treated right. Okay. And as we got older, I guess I wanted to do something, you know, and we reconnected. I think it had to been like 2000. I was trying to help everybody find their family. Okay. I was looking for my family. Okay. But I didn't have no success finding mine. But I helped everybody find theirs. And then I was hearing about all the wicked stories of the abuse and the neglect. Right. So I started, you know, a little foundation. And it wasn't a foundation then, but it was just on a mission with a cameraman exposing things. And, and then in 2004, we started the foundation. You know, we started going to speak for people who was abused, speaking for people who was trying to find their family. Okay.
Like advocates for everyone. Okay.
And motivational speaking to kids in the system, paying for kids' funerals. A lot of kids, when they die in the system, they put them in Potter's Field.
Oh, wow.
You know, all that money they make off the kids,
right,
but they put them in Potter's Field. So Potter's Field is one stone with all their names on it, but they're in a pit.
Wow.
So I started buying stones and giving each kid their own stone. And
so from young, you felt like you said you grew up in a neighborhood in Mount Vernon that had a
New
lot
Rochelle. I grew up in New Rochelle. My young
okay.
years, all my adult years was Mount Vernon.
Okay.
But my family was living in Mount Vernon. I didn't know that.
You didn't know.
I didn't know that.
You found on later on as an adult that you kind of grew up in the same area as your biological.
But my adopted family was in Mount Vernon too. Okay. And my biological family was in Mount Vernon.
Wow.
But I went to school in New Rochelle. So the whole time when I went to go see my grandfather on my adopted side, I used to see my family, but I didn't know they was my family.
Didn't even know.
They used to come in the barber shop. I used to cut their hair, be talking, and they just look at me, and I'd be like, you know, it's strange that we resemble, but they didn't know nothing about me. I didn't know nothing about them, but it was my family, my cousins.
Wow.
You know.
So at birth, your mother actually, you found out later, you know, as you got older, at birth your mother gave you up?
Well, I found out the situation, we'll put it this way. My adopted grandmother lived with us. And she had told me my mother couldn't take care of me and my brother. Okay. So she gave me up. And that was the last that I knew. So years later, when I found the family, then was told to me, you know, the situation with her and her sister's husband. And then when I reached out to her a few times, she just brushed me off, you know. But I never knew the initial what it was until my brother told me last month on the 3rd, you know, because I was getting ready to go to California to go meet her after, you know, 50 years. So, and when he said, it's something you need to know, that you were sick as a baby and they didn't think you was going to live past 3 weeks. And when she, you know, gave birth, she just left you and went on with her life, took me and my sister.
Wow.
So once he told me that.
Yeah, how did you feel about that after years later? Because you never heard it directly from her, you know.
Well, I knew that she gave me up because of my aunt confronted her about that baby that you carrying by my husband. And when that happened, she made the arrangements to give me up.
Okay.
That was already in the working. But I didn't know I was sick as a
Okay.
baby. And she ended up, you know, giving me up. And then when she had a daughter after me, and it was strange, my sister got pregnant at 16, and she gave her daughter away.
Wow.
You know,
So
and my sister never been the same mentally. She been on drugs even to this day. You know, I'm trying to find her daughter. Her daughter would be same age as my daughter. You know.
So at some point, you know, I think you had an injury or something, and you was trying to find your biological parents,
Well,
like growing up. You had
what
an
happened
injury.
was,
Okay.
1985 was my last fight. I got injured with a ripped artery in my nose. So when I went to well, the injury, that wasn't how the mission didn't start from the injury. The injury happened early 80s boxing.
Okay.
But I had a kidney infection. That same problem that I had as a baby,
It resurfaced.
it resurfaced years later.
Okay.
And when I went to the doctor, he said, you might need a kidney from a family member.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I told the doctor, I said, I don't have no blood relatives. I was adopted. So that's what began the search in 2000, looking for, you know, my family, medical history, and finding my mother. But at the same time, I was retired from boxing because of an injury in my nose, artery in my nose. So it's strange that the whole time I'm trying to go back and forth to the hospital, try to get my info. I went to this church as a guest, and this lady named Prophetess Bush, I never forget that. She called me down from the balcony because I cut the pastor's hair. And I was there as a guest. I said, what you want to talk to me about? I come down, and, you know, I'm seeing everybody jumping around and the Holy Ghost, and they touching them, falling back. So I braced it myself like, it ain't happening. So she put her hand on my forehead, and she started telling me about my life. And I was like, wow. I'm looking like, she was like, close your head, close your eye, put your head down. And she said that you're going to make her come back in the ring. And I said, man, I ain't got no interest in boxing. I mean, I'm living.
Did she know you was a boxer at the time?
I don't know where that came from. I don't know where it came. To this day, I don't know where it came from. Because the pastor didn't know much about me.
Okay.
And some of the members in there knew me, but not to tell her anything. Because I was a guest. I was the first time there.
Right, you're just walking in.
And she put her hand on my forehead and said, you're going through a physical problem, and you're going through different things in your life, and there's a person in this audience, in this congregation, that you can help. It was a dude that somebody was out to kill him for something he did. And she said, I want you to connect with this guy. And I was like, I don't know this guy. But I knew the people who was out to get him.
Oh, you did?
Because they was like, you know, friends of mine.
Oh.
And so I did that.
So you was able to help.
And she told me in order how everything was going to happen. And everything happened just like that. The way my kidneys, she said, you're gonna heal up from your kidneys. I went to herb nutrition in Chinatown. They healed my kidneys.
Without surgery?
Without surgery.
You just went, okay.
Without surgery. She told me that I'm going to get back in the ring. And I just kept getting these visions of boxing again. And I'm telling everybody said, you're crazy. You ain't getting back. You've been out of the ring 16 years.
Wow, a lot of years.
But I said, I'm going to follow, because God spoke to me. He said,
right,
if you get back in the ring, you're going to help people and you're going to find your family. So I went with that route because my mission was to be a celebrity barber, because I was a barber.
At the time.
I was a barber, but I was a celebrity barber. I was going on tour with Slick Rick, on Brand Nubians, and they put my name in the record. And I was with Seal Smooth. I was cutting everybody's hair in the industry, so I wanted to be that guy on a magazine cutting Denzel's hair.
right.
But God said, nah.
No, you got to go back over here now.
I want you to do this.
Okay.
I want you to do this. So I said, well, if it's going to heal me, I'd rather go with the health, you know, to get a kidney from my family.
Of course.
And go that way than to be a celebrity. And then that's when I started connecting with old friends, helping them find their families. And then I started doing research. I was meeting caseworkers. And then one time I went to Harlem. I'll never forget this. Because I was never one, as a child, to speak openly around people. I was always shy, And then they was speaking against ACS about taking their kids. And the lady said, you can get up and say something. I got up, but I went in front of the audience and turned my back to the white people and started talking. And
like you was one of the guest speakers there, right?
No, but everybody only can get up in their seat and speak because
they was no, I'm
they was
coming
lined up. They was lined up.
Right.
All the white people from ACS, they was lined up at the table so nobody could run at them because they had like a liaison person in the middle.
Little barrier, right?
The barrier. But I walked up from the chair and turned around and looked towards the people, and the spirit just got me to speak.
Wow.
And everybody said, "Oh man, I want to get with you, man. What's your organization, man?" And I was like, "I ain't got an organization. You got a number?" So I pulled out some cards. I started getting. They was like, "This is a barbershop, man." I was like, well, "I ain't got an organization."
That's the only way to contact me now, right?
I started giving out the cards, and this lady said to me, I never forget. She was a caseworker in Harlem. She said, "They felt your passion." I was like, "What the hell does that mean?" My cameraman was saying the same. They felt your passion. I was trying to be like that other dude that spoke. He was like, Malcolm, like, "Yo, y'all can't do this to the kids, this and that."
Right,
I said, "I want to be like that." But it wouldn't come out like that. It wouldn't come out like that. So I just spoke, from the heart.
Okay.
And that's when it all started.
That's how
Ever since that, we've been going everywhere taping and doing interviews and interviewing people who was abused, interviewing people that got their kids took in. And we was just doing everything.
So how did you get into boxing? We bypassed that part. Tell us
Boxing
how you got inspired to box.
Boxing started really, I used to always be playing around, playing in the area of my uncle and my father watching boxing. And I used to always be watching Ali and Frazier. And that's the first time I seen boxing is when Ali and Frazier. My uncle, he was in a wheelchair. He was going for Frazier, and my father was going for Ali. So I'm underneath the table with my two G.I. Joes fighting them, and I'm listening to the conversation, and he said that, "Oh, Joe Frazier, he's a gorilla, like Ali said, but Ali helps people. He's for the people. He's the people champ.
Okay.
And he helps people." And I was like, "What do you mean he help people? He helps the poor and lift people's spirit."
Wow.
So when I'm watching the commercial, the Ethiopian kids, and I'm saying, so that's what poor people is. And they said, "Give a quarter and you can feed a kid." I said, "Boy, how much the boxers make?" He said, "They make thousands of dollars." I said, "If I get in the ring,
how many kids can I feed with that, right?"
And it clicked on me. If I get in the ring and box, but at that time I was too scared to fight. I was getting bullied, but I went and brought a book, tried to teach myself how to box. I was messing in the basement. My father said, "I gotta take you to a gym, man."
He could be messing up my house trying to learn how to fight.
I was tearing the house up, man. I was putting sand in a bag, punching it. Dirt was all over. And the roof fell down in the basement, man, because I tied a rope up and put sand in, and it just pulled the whole roof down.
To build your
My father said, "Listen, I'm taking you to the job playing Rocky." He said, "You play that Rocky song every day." I was playing it like for hours.
Your
the neighbors,
motivational music,
man, I was jumping rope and everything, eating raw eggs and stuff. I was doing everything. I was like about 12, 13 years old, man. Everybody thought I was crazy. I'd go to school with my hand wraps on, my shorts, my robe.
Oh, you was
Be
really
sitting in
into
class.
it.
Teacher said, "How you going to do your work?" I said, I can put the pencil in. Come to work. I used to come to school, put my trophy on the table. So I'm going to be champ. I don't need to do this work.
You did.
It's for the kids. I gotta do it again, I'll do it again. It's for the kids. Double hook up the bike. Nice hook. There we go. I was crazy, man. And you know, it's funny. I went to my school reunion years later, my high school reunion. Everybody was like, "Man, you ain't age, man." I'm looking at him like, "Yo, you was my teacher, right?" No, I was in the same class. I said, "Damn, you look old, man."
Oh, no.
I didn't recognize nobody.
No.
Everybody said you looked the same, but you was crazy, man. You used to always be, you know, shadow boxing in the hallway and stuff. You know
But look, that was something that you took on early, right?
But I took on it early. But the early years, I was skinny. They was always messing with me because I was a foster kid, and they used to punch me in my chest. I go down the hall and walk on my books. They used to punch me, knock my books down.
Man.
Then when I got to middle school and I started boxing, it was like I'm shadowed by everybody running on the other side of the hall. Nobody wanted to play fight with me. It was just weird. I was like, why nobody want to play fight with me now?
Yeah, what happened?
You know what I'm saying? When I went to high school, it was like, yo, he just we don't know his name. Yo, you play basketball? Yo, the boxer, we gonna put him on our team.
Yeah, they want you on their side, right? So things changed for you at some point. So I mean, you like you said, you had a lot of friends that was also in the system. They had sad stories compared to what was happening with you. Like even though you grew up in foster care young, you was fortunate enough to be placed in a good home. So at some point, you went around, you created the Throwaway Kids Foundation, and you had, what was the mission? Like you said, it was to help them find their parents.
Expose the system of the corruption.
Right.
My thing was to be that Malcolm X of foster care,
Right.
to expose them and change. But I didn't know how big the system was. I didn't know that the Jews was running it. I didn't know how powerful that was.
Right.
I remember the Muslim brothers and the Christian brothers come to the shop and they used to be like, "Yo, brother, you gotta tone it down, man. They ain't gonna let you in the door, man." And I realized every time I did an interview,
they don't want to mess with that money. They want to keep them kids in
I
the
didn't
system.
realize how much money was.
Right.
Then I started hooking up with celebrities, and I used to get them involved, like DMC, Kevin Willis, you know, Alonzo, and they was like, "Oh, our publicist said we gotta back up from you." I'm like, wow. They want to stay what they doing. They not trying to change the system. I was on that trying to change the system.
Trying to make a difference,
you know
right?
But, you know, I didn't realize how bad the system was and how powerful it was. When I did interviews, man, they everything I said was edited. I'm like, yo, I didn't say that.
Right.
How did they make my mouth say that?
Right.
They edited everything. I was like, oh man. So
and then what happened with you? I know at some point, like we was talking about the medical records, you went to get it. Now, is that procedure that the medical records is closed and they don't give you information? Is that?
My history was sealed. Because when you have a sealed adoption, everything is sealed. So I kept going back to the hospital and they wouldn't give me the stuff, but I seen a guy that I knew.
Okay.
Not really personally knew him, but I knew him. We used to always speak.
Okay.
And he said, yo, I'm going to go in the record department and get that log book. It was a log book. And he took it, put it in his coat, brought it to the barber shop. We looked up my year that I was born, and there was 2 people born that day.
Okay.
It was me and a girl, August 24th, 1965. And it said Bernice Diggins. That was my mother's name. That's the first time I knew what my mother's name was.
Wow.
It said born 3/13. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, you know, just weird, man.
I mean, I would think in cases of emergency, medical emergency, that there, you know, can be an override of a sealed medical records like that.
Yeah, I would have to be half dead for them to give me some information. They wasn't trying to give me nothing. You know, even to this day, they wouldn't give me nothing. You know, different agencies operate different ways.
Okay.
You know, you got closed adoptions, and when you're foster kid, and you know, you're still part of the system, that information is there to get. different cases.
Is it like you said, agencies operate differently? Now, since you actually grew up, have you seen improvements within? Maybe have you heard about things changing? Have you been a part of any significant changes within the system due to you going around speaking to different people?
You want to know something? I never looked at it that way until you just said that right now, because they had a situation. They had this guinea pig thing, and they used to take HIV babies, and they used to use experimental drugs from other countries. They used to pay ACS money to use the drugs, and somebody sent me a documentary about it. So they said one of the places is in Harlem. So me and a whole lot of people went out there and we protested. They interviewed me, this and that, and they ended up shutting the facility down. Wow. And I never looked at it. Did I have something to do with it? I never looked at it, because my name was out there, Rob Garris, the militant barber, you know what I'm saying, man? But he out there interviewing people. I was with spy camera, necklaces, hats, all type of stuff. And then I used to make a documentary, and I used to put them on the street. Okay. So everybody started seeing the documentary and say, yeah, this dude is for real. So when I used to go speak to the kids on a motivational tip, they were like, you ain't got a camera on you, do you? You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask. Let me ask.
Even to this day, when I go, they always say, no cameras allowed. You know what I'm saying? And then I never forget this. I'm in Westchester, but most of the stuff I was exposing was in the city. Okay. I was going to court with people, helping people get their kids back.
Great, great, that's awesome.
And I never forget, this judge came in my barbershop, and she came in with the commissioner of DSS. So I'm looking at these two ladies coming there, and they said, could we speak to you? And they came in my office. So you're looking at all the pictures, clippings on the wall of kids, different things. And they said, we're putting together an advisory board. Would you like to be a part of it? And I'm like, why do they want me? I'm out here. But they wanted me to be an ally. They wanted me to be on their team so I wouldn't expose Westchester.
Exactly.
So I go to the first meeting. I'm sitting at this long table. The judge was the superior judge over all the judges. She's sitting at the end with the commissioner, and they good friends, and there was a whole bunch of people in the county. I'm the only one sitting there that was in the system, that don't work for the system, and I'm telling them about their job, this and that. And half of them was agreeing, half of them was scared to agree because the boss is right there.
Some of them wanted to nod but couldn't.
And then we used to clash, me and the lady, the commissioner. We became real good friends, but we used to clash. But she knew, I knew.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that people couldn't throw at me, they couldn't say, well, he had a bad foster care upbringing. He was a crackhead. He was in and out of jail. I didn't have none of that.
You didn't have none of that negative.
So nobody can say, oh, he's an angry kid. I said, nah, man, I'm speaking for him. I'm speaking for her. You know what I'm saying?
I'm fine.
You know what I'm saying? And I was a threat. So there was one meeting. I said that we need to. You should have like a person like me work with the social workers to go to the houses and talk to the kids, because a lot of times the kids don't open up to the caseworker.
Exactly.
Because they think the caseworker is against them. And have me, and the lady was, oh, you ain't qualified, this and that. Qualified? I said, I know everything about the system.
Right,
I said, I don't have to have no degree.
Right.
And some of them agreed, some of them didn't. So I said, well, bring 5 kids in here and ask them. And I put them on the spot. They just did it the whole.
That's what they need, somebody real that they feel like they can relate to, and there's not going to be no repercussions based on what they say.
But it's all about numbers and money.
Of
you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Numbers and money.
Like we discussed off camera, you said a lot of kids remain in foster care throughout their lives because there's more money being in foster care versus being adopted.
Exactly.
So that's another big problem within the system,
But I feel my angle now is to motivate them to believe in themselves.
Right.
To position themselves for success. So, that route, I can get in the door. But everything else I was doing, they was closing the door, man.
Oh, yeah, you coming in with cameras and stuff. Nobody want to be on camera.
If you saw my documentaries, they were so raw, it make the devil cry. When I say it make the devil cry.
So you got to the heart of the matter. Like you was really showing.
It was no cursing. It was sad music, real footage, real stories, uncut.
Wow.
And I remember a guy from HBO said, man, the staff sat and watched it. They just broke down, man. But the boss was like, nah, we're not putting this out.
Well, maybe we can get some of that footage and add to this taping right now. So how did Macadocious come about? Tell us about your barbershop.
Macadocious, I was a tour barber for Nice and Smooth. And he used to always say in his record, standing in the Macadocious stance. And I was like, I like that part. I said, what does that mean?
Like that.
But I remember hearing it in the movie The Mac.
Oh.
And Richard Pryor said to Goldie, he said, yo, you look so macadocious, your looks a kill. So I was like, I heard that name. So old Jack told me, that means supreme look. I was like, okay. I said, when I open up a barber shop, that's what I'm going to name it. So I got it from Nice and Smooth.
So now we know. That's where he got it
macadocious.
from. Right.
Then people started calling. I didn't really like people to call me that. You know what I'm saying? But that
But did
became
you
my
fit
name.
the look? Like I could see you probably was into dressing.
I was always a dresser.
Right.
But you know, my name was always just Rob G. You know, but the name of the shop just kind of like came on to me. You know what I mean? Yo, Mac. You know, Head Mac. You know, Macadocious.
Okay.
So I just say I rock with it. You know what I'm saying? You know.
So when you were younger, you had the incident where you ruptured the artery, right? So you had to take a couple of years off, right? Because technology was different, medical surgeries and everything was different. So they declared that you couldn't fight for a while, right?
Well, it happened like this. I was 19 when I ripped the artery in my nose. I had already had 69 fights.
Damn.
The Olympic trials was coming up.
69 fights by 19?
19, because as an amateur, you're fighting 3 rounds.
Okay.
So as a novice, you fighting 3 2-minute rounds. So if you win, you can fight next week.
Right.
So my thing was, I didn't have no girlfriend. I ain't have. My life was boxing. So every week,
yeah, we got that boxing.
Every
went to
week,
school there. That's
every week, girls was like, "Oh, give me a hug and a kid." Nah, I'm in training. Man, I was like, everybody. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Everybody used to come to the house. My grandmother's friends, my mother's friends, and my father's friends. I used to be like, yo, Mr. Ellis, you want to go a few rounds?
Oh, Lord.
Like, man, get out of here. my grandmother's friends come. I like, Miss Smith, you want boxing? I wanted to box everybody. Everybody.
You would have boxed that lady? Look.
I would box everybody, man. I just wanted to box. And that's when I started boxing.
Okay.
So when I got injured, I started cutting hair.
Okay.
This shop called Big
So you always
Rig.
had a love for doing hair as well, along with you?
No, I was cutting hair. I was cutting hair in the neighborhood, you know.
Okay.
And then my boys talked me into going to the barber shop, and I started in the shop. But boxing was my life. So when I stopped boxing, I was out on my own. My mother put me out at 17.
Okay.
So I had to make a living. So you know, I was doing a little this, a little that. But cutting hair, I could do that. And I started cutting hair. I was like 17, 18. So my boxing career was over. But I never thought about getting back in it because life changed. You know, I bought a car. You know, I had a little son. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, money. I
was doing good. You had your own shop.
Well,
the thing
is, a lot of people don't know when you grow up boxing and you don't have that life that everybody hanging out, partying, having girls, having sex. I was strictly boxing, so I didn't know that life. But once I got a taste of that, it was different.
That was it.
Once I went to a party,
I'm retired. We put that trophy away.
Yo, man, you cannot wear that boxing shirt over that dress shirt. So they was like, yo, Rob,
you had to retire.
You got to get a khaki. Man, I was still, you know, I got sweatpants over the dress shirt.
He was a boxer at heart, man. He was a boxer at heart.
That was my life, man.
So after a couple of years went by, and you decided, what was it, like 15, 16?
16 years.
16 years went by.
Back in the ring.
And you decided, look, I'm going back. And
well,
combined with the charity, right?
I followed with the prophet said. The lady said that.
Oh, that's where the prophet came in and told you.
She told me that. And I started seeing a vision. So when I was telling everybody thought I was crazy. But it was funny that a white guy came in the shop. And he was doing an interview. He was doing something at Iona College because I was right down the street from Iona College. And I was in the back of the shop working out. I had a bag and everything. I'm working out.
Still boxing.
So he comes in there and says, hey, you open? Hey, it's a gym in here? Hey, yo, you just get trimmed the sides. I'm killing a little time before I go to the Iona College. So I said, yeah, I'll cut you. He said, what are you training for? You're a fighter? I said, I'm getting ready to get back in the ring. He said, get back in the ring? You got a business. What you want to do that for? And I started explaining about the foster kids, this and that. I said, this prophet prophesied, this is going to bring light to the cause, and I can bring change, but I have to do this sacrifice. And you know, he said to me, I never forget this, man. He said, you can protest, you can speak and do a lot of things, but when you get in the ring, that's when people are going to know that you for real about the cause. And I said, wow, this white dude said that. And I never saw him ever again.
That was almost like confirmation.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
like,
Said,
yeah, like I'm
he
supposed
said,
to go out and do this.
That's what's going to put you on the map when you walk in that ring. So the mattress set for June 11th, 2007. Man, most people never seen me fought. That place was packed, 1,000 people. It's in a documentary.
Wow.
They came to see me. Only maybe 10 people in the audience between my father and a few friends that seen me fight. Even my family, nobody never seen me fight.
Because so many years had went by. So
and I tore my shoulder in training.
Okay.
But I was gonna still do the fight, and I was fighting a young Spanish kid, and he was Empire State champion twice.
Wow.
So my trainer said, you could beat this dude, the way he swings and everything. So we had a strategy. Oh, man, I beat the mess out of that young boy. Took his belt and everything,
You
man.
did?
I never forget that, man. So,
and that was associated with your foundation?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's how I really started. That's what it really made people to really look at
and see
Rob
that,
is
like
serious,
you said,
because
like you were serious.
the money that I made from there, that's what I helped do the documentaries and pay for the stones, because I was doing that out of pocket at first. You know, but I couldn't take care of home.
Headstones for children.
I was doing all that.
That's very sad. Like, I didn't even know that if a child, I thought the city has some type of fund available if a child passed in the system. They would just put them in Potter's Field.
Potter's Field. And I'll find out, I read an article, and I'll find out who the family is, or find out, you know, whatever information, and I'll go put the stone down. And then I started paying for funerals. Kids was dying and stuff was happening. I started just going to the undertaker, just giving them the money, like, yo, just take care of that quietly. I wasn't, you know, putting it out there.
Wow.
But, then I was going to court, you know, advocating for people to get their kids back, and you know, I was doing a lot of things.
That's a lot. I mean, and
people
somebody
scared of me. I just come to court, they see me dressed like, hey, who's this dude? Oh, he know the judge.
Oh no.
I be sitting there, but like, I break it all down what the family's doing, and I'm helping the kids. You know, I got them in programs. The mother's going through a drug program. The father's going to parole.
Telling the parents,
you know
exactly what they need to do
So
to
the
make
white
it
people,
happen.
they wasn't trying to hear that. They was like, oh, the kids need to stay in the system, this and that.
Isn't that something? You got
Judges
the parents ready to get their children back and trying to prepare themselves, and they being discouraged, or they're not being allowed to get their kids back. That's horrible.
Say all that, and then the lawyer of the family used to say, they never wanted to really say who I am. And then they said, oh, the guy, throwaway kid, and the judge be, I'm aware of his organization. If he's involved in it, yo, their kids are going home.
Good.
That was it. I was like, wow, I got power like
amazing.
that. But they knew my history. They knew my history, because one thing people knew, everybody's always say, well, hey, you see him with the fatigues on, he's on a mission. He's on a mission.
He's focused. That's it. Don't mess with this man, right?
I was real serious, man. But then I started doing more boxing, man. I tried to turn pro. They wouldn't give me a license. They said I was too old.
Because in different states, you have to be age limits and all kinds of...
Well, it's not so much age. It's like, my situation was a little different.
How?
See, most fighters, when they return, well, it's like this. It was weird situation for me. George Foreman left at the age 28 and came back at 38. 10 years later.
Right, 10 years later.
They gave him a hard time. So when I went to the boxing commission and said I want to turn pro, they was like, we don't have no history on you ever fight as a pro. Then they looked me up, you was an amateur back in the day. So they was like, you must be crazy. But they saw my body, they saw me in shape. But one thing I learned, I ain't gifted at anything. But one thing I mastered is positioning myself to get where I need to get. Without selling my soul. And that's what I always preach to the kids. Position yourself for success without selling your soul.
Wise words.
So I knew how to put myself, so I used to go to the commission and tell them about, you know, the documentary, give the documentary to the secretaries, and, you know, tell them to go on this site, have kids go out there wearing a t-shirt. I positioned myself, and they was like, nah, man, this dude too old, nah. So it got to the point when the commission seen the documentary, they was like, damn, that joint's deep, man. Yo, maybe we can do something, man. He passed all the physicals.
They have no reason.
The bad thing that happened,
what?
The day I was supposed to make history in 2012, I tore my shoulder in the gym. I tore this shoulder. I beat the dude with a bad shoulder years ago. Now I'm fighting a pro with a bad shoulder. But I'm gonna tell you something what happened. I'm in the gym and we training for like 6 months, you know, and one day I was hitting the mitts and it popped, pow. And We put ice on it. We was like 3 weeks away from the fight, the pro fight.
Wow.
Make history. I'm the only
Your
fighter.
very first one?
My very first pro fight
Wow.
at 47. No athlete ever came back from amateur to pro in 27 years. 'Cause
Wow,
they counted.
salute to you for that, right?
You know? So the Guinness didn't put it in the book because I didn't win.
Okay.
That was some BS, man. But the ESPN did a story, and they said, you're the only athlete that ever did that.
Ain't
Come
that
from
something?
amateur to pro. But I said, I don't want you to say I'm the only man or black man. I want you to say I'm the only person who was in foster care. I wanted to give that
You wanted
label
that label right on there
for the
so they
kids.
would know, right.
So when I took the fight, right before the fight, I had a premonition what was going to happen. I said, God spoke to me. He said, when the shoulder goes, you're going down. But what are you going to do? Am I going to still take the fight? So my trainer was like, don't talk like that, man. You jinx it. So I knew the shoulder was bad, and the plan was to get this dude out early. Dude was younger than me. Went in there, we banging for the first round.
How many rounds was the fight? Pro was like
It was
what?
4 rounds.
4
We
rounds,
do
okay.
a first pro fight. We banging for the first round. We holding our own. He had me on the ropes. I'm banging, and I hit him with an uppercut, and I felt my arm went. But the bell rung. When I came back to my corner, they was like, yo, why you ain't throwing the right hand no more? I said, I can't feel my shoulder. The cortisone, because I had cortisone shots before the fight.
Right.
So the ref came over there, was talking to them. They had the ring inspectors, and they was like, and God spoke to me again. He said, I told you when your shoulder go, you're going down. And I said, the world is watching me.
You can't stop right like that, right?
I said, I can't quit on these kids. I didn't come this far to quit.
Right.
So I went out there to do the best I could. And one mistake I made, I backed up. And he trapped me in the corner, caught me in the right hand. I went to sleep. I was knocked out. Never been knocked out. Never been knocked off my feet.
But look, you did it. You did it.
When I woke up, I'm going to tell you this.
You said when I woke up.
When I woke up, the crowd was going crazy, man.
Aww.
I thought I won the fight. I was get up on the ropes and do this.
You about to put your
And they was
hands
like,
up.
no, you got knocked out. I was like, no, I didn't. I don't remember nothing. All I remember, somebody said, the doctor spoke to you. You want a stretcher? You said, I walked in here. I ain't going down no stretcher.
I don't need no damn
But I don't
stretcher.
remember getting knocked out.
No.
But, you know, it was a weird thing that they said. A lot of my friends, it was one girl that went to school with me. She's deep in the church. She was ringside talking to her aunt, and they was praying over the phone. They was talking about Lazarus. And she said, as they was talking, I just rose.
Ain't that something?
I didn't see the tape. I can't find the tape. I got a little bit of footage, but I don't see the audio. The promoter said, when people get knocked out in fights, you hear the whole crowd still rumbling. He said, the whole crowd was silent. I don't remember.
Just looking,
He
waiting
said,
to see what was going to happen.
He said, I turned around, I seen white people, black people, Latino, they was all praying. You was laid out.
You was fighting for a purpose. Everybody was rooting for you know?
The announcer started talking about my whole career, like, you know, what I do with the kids. Like the whole time they in my corner and I'm laid out, everybody is silent. He was talking about, he bought gravestones, he did this, he did that. After the fight, 3 days later, $8,500 worth of checks came to my foundation.
Isn't that something?
And I fought for free because I had to buy my way on the card. I didn't have a contract. So I had to sell a lot of tickets to get on the card. So I had to pay for his purse, his medical, my medical, and I had $1,000 for myself in tickets, so I gave them to my family. So I really fought for free.
Right.
But I got
Look what happened in return.
Yeah. But you know, it's crazy. I thought that the world was going to be dissing me and, oh, you shouldn't have did this, you're too old. But it was like the opposite, the respect.
Well, come on.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know how people was going to be.
That's true.
I figured yo, soon as my shoulder heal, I'm knocking somebody out. First one make a joke.
That is such an awesome cause, though, because a lot of kids don't have a voice in the system. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know where to go. And like you said, even if somebody does come to them, a stranger representing this big company, they may not open up. They may not share things because this is what they know.
Well,
this is what they're
afraid.
used to. Exactly. So for you to step up, and, you know, you're out, you're being seen, you're being vocal, and you're representing them. And a lot of times you would expect somebody who had a bad experience to be that way.
But the bad thing
but you
for me
didn't.
was different. What was bad for me was I was scared to speak. I was scared to fight back as a kid. My mother used to always say, she was country, she was always say, yo, you better you better pick up a brick and hit them. You better. My father used to always say, "Yo, run until they trap you." I said, "Dad, you was in the army, man. You was a soldier."
They gonna tell you to run.
He was like, "Run until they trap you, then you fight." My mother used to say, "Don't back up, just fight them." And you wanna know something? What she said hit me late.
Okay.
I always listened to my father,
right?
Because
So
I
I'm
was
getting
always
out of
with
here,
him.
right?
But that's why I tell people to this day, even in the barbershop, I said, it's like 30 people in here. I know there's 5 people in here struggling with insecurity,
right.
Speaking up, being taken advantage of. And I'm always talking about out loud, like, listen, you can overcome it, man. You can overcome it.
Let them know,
man.
right.
I tell people, I've been there. People, nobody believes it, man. When I tell those kids, they say, you used to get bullied? I say, yeah, I used to see my shadow and run, man. I told every man, but
you have to,
I
because
tell people,
they relate to that.
See,
and they
my
learn
mother,
from that.
my adopted mother taught us a shame and embarrassment don't exist. Meaning,
don't feed into
if
that.
if I run into that thing and fall, I'm not gonna feel embarrassed. Everybody start laughing. I'll be like, I didn't plan on doing it.
Right, it just happened.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so
I'm still good.
I never felt ashamed of anything, and I never felt embarrassed because we wasn't allowed to do that. But I never would speak up for myself. My mother always said, "You got to speak up." And I'm paying for you to go to the gym. I thought my father was paying for me to go to the gym. He said, "I'm paying for you to learn how to fight." And it hit me years later. So now I say what I want, but like I always tell people, I'm not trying to offend nobody. I'm just trying to wake people up.
That's
you know what
right.
I'm saying? Wake the souls up. Some people get it, take it, in the wrong way. But I'll be like, listen, man.
But you know where it's coming from. You know exactly where
But
it's
you always
coming
get
from.
a ignorant person, man, that like, oh, I think you're talking about me. I'm like, well, listen, if it can help you, you know what I'm saying, man. But don't think about swinging on me. I always tell me, whatever you think.
Just
don't
show
think
the
about
good now. Like, just show the good.
Yeah. I said, listen, man, I'll fight you in a minute, man. But
so you started your foundation when? 2004?
2004.
2000. Okay, so now you boxed. Was that the only fight that you actually done to raise money, or had you done other?
I did 6 fights.
You did six fights to raise money for your foundation.
They wouldn't give me a license. So for 10 years, I fought for 10 years.
Okay.
6 fights.
Okay.
And I had 2 injuries. So really, I made 3 comebacks.
Okay.
I came back from the artery in the nose. That was 85. I came back 07. And then 07, I ripped my shoulder. I came back in 2011. I fought 3 times.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I came back.
right
I
there.
tore the shoulder. And I came back. The dude that knocked me out, I came back and beat him and knocked him out.
You did? Okay.
At 50. 3 years later, after everybody thought I was gone,
you came back and knocked him out. Ain't that something? Yeah. So you have the proceeds that go to your foundation. So now you have an upcoming event. Tell us about that, December 3rd.
December 3rd. Well, since I'm not fighting, I have to
he's
find
not
a way to
fighting
generate
this one.
money.
Right. But I mean, that's all fine. I mean, there's so many different avenues to get money and to raise awareness. Like you might box and get the boxing crowd to donate funds for your organization. But now you're doing an event. It's almost like a concert. You have a couple of people. So you're giving back and you're also raising money. So there's so many different ways you can raise money for your foundation.
If this works, which I believe is going to work, I'm going to do a lot of shows.
And it's a lot safer for you. Because you don't want to be,
Well, I want to fight again.
You do?
I do want to fight. I really want to have one more fight.
Okay.
I want to leave the game with a sanction win.
Okay.
Because the charity wins, that's not on record. They wins, but to certain people, those are the real fights. But the only fight I ever had as a pro is the one I lost.
Okay.
Even though I came back and beat the guy, but they're not going to give me credit because it was illegal. But it was a fight, you know what I'm saying?
How was it illegal?
Because we didn't get no license. We didn't have a license.
So they don't count that.
They don't count that on the books. They won't give you no articles.
So that's something that you're trying to do? Is there any way that you can make that happen?
Listen, I have to go out of state and fight. Put it this way. When I go after my daughter's wedding in California, I'm going to go over to Vegas. I'm going to try to politic with Mayweather's people and see if I can, give them my credentials and see, like, listen, I buy my way on the car. Let me just get a slot.
Let me just
I'll get my own fighter. I'll go get somebody in the alley. Just give me. But I want to leave the game with a win.
Okay.
That's personally for me.
Okay, that's his personal. Okay.
That's for me. So,
all right. So December 3rd. I'm sorry,
December
I took you
3rd,
off track. Sorry
December
about
3rd,
that.
we doing a charity party, to raise money for foster kids.
Right.
Now every year I usually give certain agencies money, but I never find out what they got the kids.
Okay.
So I just happened to be speaking to one agency, one college, And I asked the kid, "Did you ever get the Jordans you wanted?" He said, "No, they gave me New Balance. They don't even got a commercial for this, man." I'm like, "Those are good sneakers." He said, "He's a whack." And I was like, "What did they didn't get you?" So I didn't know they didn't buy them what they wanted, because each kid gets $200.
Okay.
But those New Balances didn't cost no $200. It was like $60. It was the first New Balance that came out.
Somebody got them a pair of sneakers too. Right.
So I said, this year, all the money that I raised, even what I put up, I'm taking the cottages shopping.
Okay, so you're going to personally go get the kids yourself and take them out.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to go with the counselors, you know what I'm saying? Follow me to whatever store they want. Y'all pick what y'all want.
Right.
And you know, that's it.
Okay.
You know, so I'm going to do it like that.
So who do we have on the, I'm going to let you say who you have for your lineup.
You got Big Daddy Kane headlining. You got Positive K. You got Little Albie Shore.
Yes.
You got Nene Ali.
Yes.
You got Dre Will and
me.
What the artist you was telling me about?
Oh, and we have Dig Marie. Dig Marie, R&B singer.
Okay. That was the last one that came on.
Yes, that's the last one.
I didn't even know the name. You never gave me the name.
No, I was going to send you everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I wanted to put the flyer together.
I'm going to send you everything.
Okay.
And did I send you the flyer?
And DMC.
And DMC's hosting. Am I co-hosting?
Yeah, you co-hosting too.
I'm co-hosting too.
You and Stace.
Okay, great. Oh
Stace,
yeah, my partner.
Stace
from Brooklyn.
D Brooklyn.
Yeah, from Brooklyn. Okay, that's going to be a great event, and that's going to be at the Mansion. And what's the address? Was it 3 North?
4 North.
4 North 3rd.
3rd Avenue.
Okay, 4 North 3rd Avenue.
It's $25 for a ticket. It's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be a nice event.
Old school
everybody.
music,
Right.
Soul Train line. I didn't get a chance to do
that.
that.
You got Mr. C as the DJ.
Mr. C's DJ and
DJ Rasheen.
Rasheen and Mama Do.
And
DJ Mama Do.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great lineup. So I hope y'all all come out for that. That's at the Mansion, 4 North 3rd Avenue. 3rd Avenue. Right. That's 4, and it's only like 10 minutes from the Bronx. So you have no excuse saying that you can't get this far. It is very, very close.
Well, think about it like this. You're helping making a foster kid's Christmas beautiful.
Right.
Because all of our kids are going to be blessed. But think about those kids who don't get it like that.
Right.
A lot of them don't get it like that, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm
true.
going to go all out for them, you know.
All right, so you have that. Now, how can they get in touch with you if they want to find out, like, give the information about your website,
you can go throwawaykids.net, or you can go on my Facebook, Rob Garris, Garris. Basically.
Yeah, because he's always posting things that are coming up. And I also post, Deborah Coco. Make sure you check me out on Facebook as well and social media, because I'm always reposting and we're always sharing events. And where can they find your documentary? They can just Google you, right?
Well, the documentary, really you only can get it from me. I mean, there's copies on the street. There's like 1 million copies on the street because...
So you don't have it uploaded like online or anything like that?
Because what I was trying to do was put it on... see, we was trying to make a deal with Netflix.
Okay. Oh, that would be nice.
And if I start selling them, you know what I'm saying, kind of messes everything up.
Yeah,
so we have the rough copy is on the street. People know that, but we polishing it up, and then we working on part 2.
Okay.
But it really was 3 documentaries before that, but those are street documentaries.
Okay.
But you just have to get in touch with me. I can get them a documentary. It's no problem.
Okay, so contact. And make sure you check out the website. You'll get bio information, find out more about the mission and the purpose of the foundation. And, you can also donate. And right? Can you donate on the site? You can also make donations. And just make sure you check it out and support, because that's what we need. Anything you want to say to the people who have been supporting you all this time, or to new people to let them know how you know, any last words?
I mean, I'm sure everybody knows about foster kids.
Yes.
I know somebody who's in foster care.
Right.
Try to bless them.
Right.
Try to bless them. Well, not try. You can do it.
Yes. And do you have any other events that you want to work on, or any other, like, what are some of your future plans for, like, your foundation? We know that you want on your personal side.
To finish this documentary.
Finish the documentary. Okay.
Get back in the ring and fight for the kids.
So you ready to do the whole training, eating the raw, drinking the raw eggs again, and doing all that? Okay.
I can do it a little different. I can't do it like I used to. I mean, I met George Foreman like 6 years ago. And I positioned myself to meet him because I said, if I'm gonna break his record, I gotta go see him. So I found out he was in Washington D.C. Not Washington, it was in Virginia. His son was fighting. So I jumped on the train, went to Virginia, told my cousin take me over to the hotel. As soon as the bus pulled up the tour bus, I was right there. You know what I'm saying? But I had hit his son on Facebook. I made friends with his son. So when he got off the bus, hey, yo, George, what's up, man? Yo, introduce me to your pops. And then I sent him the documentary. And they was watching it on the bus.
Nice.
So George Foreman was like, wow, this is the dude. And George held it up in front of everybody, the press. I didn't expect him to do that. He was like, this is a very good documentary. But at the time, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't polished.
Right.
But it had a cover and everything. And he said, so you're going to break my record, huh?
That's what you said in the documentary?
I didn't say that actually said. I said, well, I'm coming back for a cause. I didn't, you know, use the words, I'm breaking your record.
But he
was like, show me some ID, how old you are. He said, you 45? You don't look 40. Are you a Christian? You know, we going through all that. So he told me, you can't train like a young guy.
It's a different type of...
And I used to always go to the gym and train like I'm young, and that's how I tore my shoulders, you know. I used to always take my shirt off and always let the guys know, y'all my little brothers, but ain't none of y'all gonna ever dominate me.
You had to show them, right?
I had to let them know. Because one thing when you're an older fighter, nobody wanna, you know, they try to take advantage of you, or they don't want to look bad against an old guy, especially somebody that just came back. So everybody used to always try to test me, but I would never try to hurt them, but I never let them have it their way. I used to use my
you had to let them know this ain't going to be easy, right?
It ain't going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy.
You know? But,
well, look, if anybody else out there feels like that they could, you know, want to assist in any type of way, make sure you reach out to Rob and, you know, offer some assistance, because it definitely can't be one man fighting this all by himself. I know you probably have a team of people that you work with now, right?
I have people, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, everybody ain't built to go out there on, you know, people want to protect their job, their family, and
some people just self-absorbed. I mean,
listen. For me to get in the ring, I had to look at myself and like, damn, you got in the ring, man, you crazy, you know what I'm saying? But you know,
it's something though. Since you had a real love for it, I know the adrenaline
I never liked fighting.
rush.
Truthfully, I don't like fighting. I don't like fighting.
But
I liked it when I was young.
The structured
I loved it when I was young. When I came back, it was hard.
You noticed.
But I knew it was a platform. I'm just living. My whole thing is waking up to inspire somebody, to help somebody, give somebody some type of guidance, or wake them up from being afraid of whatever their situation is. While I was living, anything I do is all charity. It's all charity. I'm good financially. You know, I wasn't always like that.
When do you plan on starting the part 2 of your documentary?
Well, I got most of the footage. It's just taking the time and going back and, you know, and finishing. I mean, the money is there, but you know what will motivate me? If I got somebody that's going to help me put it out there. Like I did 4 documentaries out of pocket. And the last one that you get ready to see in a minute, everybody that's seen it cried. And it was like, this is powerful.
Wow.
A lady walked up to me 2 weeks ago. I was going to McDonald's to get a coffee, and I thought the lady was going to ask me for $1. So she was talking to 2 other people. So I went in my pocket, and she put her hand on my arm, and she said, I just want to say something to you. So I looked at her, and she said, I saw your documentary 4 years ago. I never knew who you was, but I was hoping I'd meet you one day. And she said, you inspire a lot of people. So I seen her eyes watering. So before my eyes could water, I grabbed her and hugged her.
Yeah.
And then she just broke down. So I gave her my card. I said, anytime you want to talk to me. And she walked up the street. And I said, that's the first time a stranger said that to me. I mean, I hear people say that to me that I know. But when somebody I never knew, never seen said that, it let me know I'm on the right track.
Right.
You know?
Well, I personally want to say keep going, you know. I think it's a beautiful thing. I just met you, you know, and I definitely wanted to sit down and talk to you and hear your story, you know. And I hope other people benefit. I hope other people join in. And, you know, in your own little way, we can all make a difference. We can all help out, you know, even if it's individually or whether you reach out to an organization. But, you know, we got to start, you know, trying.
Everybody got to do charity.
Right.
Everybody got to do some type of charity in life.
I agree. Everybody. I agree. Give back some type of way.
You want to see your blessings, help somebody.
Help somebody else.
It ain't all about just your family and you. You got to help somebody.
That's why I do the show, actually. It's not about me coming here trying to be in front of the camera talking. I want to help people to get their stories
That's
out,
a beautiful
you know,
thing you're doing.
and
Beautiful,
definitely trying. I just want to thank you for joining me, you know. It's a great, great interview. And, you know, check us out. We'll be right back. Make sure you support Rob Garris. Look him up on social media. On Instagram, he's People's Champ.
Children's Champ.
Children's Champ on Instagram. So make sure you check him out there as well. But you know, we out here. Well, thank you. We'll be back. Now, I hope y'all enjoyed that show. I mean, awesome. Make sure you support Rob Garris. Reach out to him. Go on the website, check out his foundation, and support any way that you can, not just for the holiday seasons, but all year round. Anything that you can do to help, whether it's make a phone call, come out to an event, support, make a donation, everything is appreciated. Make sure you can also hit me up at Deborah Coco, you know, on Facebook, and I can also provide you with more information about upcoming events. If you want to be a guest on the show, make sure you reach out to me to justgimmethemic12@gmail.com. Look me up on social media. I'm always available to talk to everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Good night.